Hey everyone, back again, and today we have an Astor model JJ made from, what did the Radio Museum say, 1946 to 1948, and it's in great condition. I really like this. It's a nice big radio, nice tabletop. This is the broadcast version only, so no shortwave on this, and you speak cloth on it, and unfortunately it's got, I think it's a glue stain there, it's not quite right there, so I'm going to end up changing it. Yep, the case is superb, just needs a little bit of polishing. And the back, actually the chassis, very nice condition, and that detector, oh no, second amplifier valve, it's a Russian one. Okay, cool, so only 4 valves, there's a capacitor can there, so, and of course no power cord. So I'm going to get this thing out, let's see if it's going to be an easy fix or it's going to provide some problems for us. Either way, it should be fun. It's out, and yeah, very nice condition, and I haven't looked underneath yet, waiting for the video. Speaker will need a little bit of repairing, and nothing too drastic there. Let's have a look underneath and see what we've got. I don't know, I'm just going to take a guess and say this has been restored. No, it hasn't. There we go. I thought it might have been restored because those valves were really shiny and new. So what do we got? Okay, a couple of filter caps, whatever, another electro, and waxies, and look at all that room. This is going to be easy. Well, I don't want to jinx myself by saying that. So, that's just sort of hanging there. Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, a bit of oxidisation there. But anyway, get the power cord on this, and we'll see what happens with all our testing and that. And hopefully, it's going to be working very soon. I'll be back shortly. Well, I've attached the power cord, and I've just noticed that that's just hanging there. And it's been snipped. It's a 25 microfarad, but only at 40 volt. And we've got, that's probably one of the filter caps, and I'm guessing that that's been replaced. And there's another cap can underneath it. And I've got this little red wire coming out of the transformer, hanging nowhere. Although I have a suspicion that, given the way the wire is, it's attached to there, onto the rectifier. And given also there's another red wire coming off it. So anyway, I'll have to check the schematic anyway, to find out where this thing is going. And I'll go down, luckily I've got the schematic for it, and I'll try and suss it out and come back. Okay, well that was a relatively painless exercise, excuse me, on my part, and easy enough to locate their cathode bypass capacitors. And the first one, which is attached to the cathode of the 6V6, and the one here that's hanging in mid-air gets attached to the cathode of the 6B8, which is that little metal Russian tube there. So I'll just look at the the pinouts, and I'll connect it back to where it should be. So nice and easy. I've tacked on the bypass capacitor to the cathode of the second valve, and now that just leaves us with this hanging red wire. And I've gone to the schematic, but again I'm not an expert at deciphering a schematic, translating a nice simple schematic to the wiring layout. What I have found is most likely it does go to this pin on the 5Y3, which is not a connection. There's no connection to the internals of the pin or the valve. It's simply used as an anchor point, and I can actually see where this wire has come off the solder, because there's a nice little indentation in there, and that's how it would have fitted. Oh, well, you can't really see, but right there. So, I mean, and given what I can make out on the schematic, that this wire is going to run to the output transformer, and that's certainly where that red wire runs. So I'm going to take a punt, and I'm going to put it straight back to where it probably belongs. Alright, so we'll do that, then we'll run some power tests. But that's done. Hopefully it won't come off. So down to where it's 5x3, pins 2, and it's pin 2, and pin 8. The heater, cathode. So I'll just zoom back, and let's give it a bit of power. See what happens. That's about what I expect. So we've got that, and let's look at the plates, and they are pins 4 and 6. So let's just count from the notch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 6. As long as they're not touching, that's what matters. I don't know. And let's see if we get some high voltage. Oh shit, yeah. So that's all done. Oh, speaker, yeah. And while I was nosing around for that particular red wire, I did notice speaker wires, and there's our blue and our red go into the output transformer. So let's hope it works. Turn on the generator. Oh yeah, that's cool. Alright, I've got a funny feeling about this one. Again, I'm not 100% sure about this red wire. I am sure about the cathode bypass. That was easy to read. But, you know, we're going to find out. This won't stump me forever. But anyway, I'll change these the filter caps, and we'll give it a test and see what happens. Okay, so I found an issue, which is interesting. And first off, I'll talk about these red wires here, the one that was hanging off. Well, they're the choke, and it simply bridges across the positive terminals of both filter caps, which it does. So I had that right, and of course it continues on to the output transformer. That's according to the schematic. And I'll flash up the schematic right now, as long as I remember to do it. And you can see that the two filter caps there, the positives, are connected together. And they're just bridged by the choke. However, I'm pretty sure that this is a replacement, and there is absolutely no connection between the positive of this 16 microfarad filter cap and the positive of that. So no circuit there. It's just not connected at all. And I'm going to connect it up according to the schematic, and hopefully I don't destroy the thing. But I've been looking at this for about 15-20 minutes, and I just cannot see that there is a connection between the positives there, and this should buzz out according to the schematic. It's fairly straightforward, so that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'll just jumper it in for now and run a test and make sure that we're getting power there. In fact, what I'll do, I'll do it right now. Let's just put it back the way it was originally. And I'll connect up the 16 microfarad. It's hanging loose there, but I'll just tack that in so it's earthed properly. And my guess is that I'll probably get voltage readings coming out of this filter cap here, the cap can, but I'm not going to get any voltage readings going into this 16 microfarad. Anyway, that's my theory. So I'll just tack the earth side of that onto the chassis properly, so it's loose at the moment, and then we'll run some tests, see if I'm right. Okay, let's try it. So that's solid anyway. So we'll check for DC voltage on the filter caps, and black lead, negative onto the chassis, and red onto the positive of that cap can. And already I'm getting something on the multimeter. Anyway, I'll give it some voltage. Dial globes are lighting up. So we're getting DC power running into that. And I'm at about 112 volts at the moment, so that would build up. That's okay. Let's look at the positive of the 16 microfarad, and that's just connected to here. And let's see if we'll get anything. So I'm up to the same amount, 112, 113 volts, and absolutely jack shit, nothing. So I'm going to go with the schematic, and I'm going to connect up the positives of both those caps together in series, and should be fine. Hopefully. Anyway, I'll get onto that, see what happens. Right, so look, all I've done now is I've just jumpered it in, so the green jumper just connects the positive of the 8 to the positive of the 16. And I've got the multimeter hooked up, looking for DC voltage, so I'm going to give it a test. Current limit is okay, I'm not seeing any smoke. Don't know if it's going to work. I'm up to 203 volts. I'm only getting 90 volts. Oh, here we go.
I'll pop around. I won't pop around for too long, but I will come around to that.
Not hearing any. Oh, it works. Unbelievable. Oh God. Oh God. Again, I'm still classifying myself as a newbie with this, and you know, I do get nervous, you know, when I have to actually make changes to someone else's work, and you just hope for the sake of it that you're right, you don't blow it. But again, that's what you saw on the schematic. It clearly shows a direct connection between the two positives of the filter caps. Therefore, put it in place, and as you saw, the thing worked even with the old caps in there. So I'll now get around to changing both those caps and put in a permanent wire connection between both positives, and we should be good to go. Okay, well, I've been quite busy, and if you recall, the original my solution with the filter caps was wrong, absolutely incorrect. I let this go for a day, and the reason for that is that when I turned the unit back on for another test after I changed a number of the wax caps, there's all this hum in the system, and I thought I've got a ground loop and all sorts of things, and a million things are running through my mind. And then this morning, an image of the schematic showing the filter caps popped into my head, and I realised, oh no, I've made a huge mistake. So what I've done is I've just drawn up from what the schematic says, and I've just followed this, and I've translated this into the wiring. So as we can see, first bit off our cathode from the rectifier goes to the positive of the 8 microfarad, and there it is there. And of course the 8 and the 16 are joined at the negatives, and that's just earth to the chassis. The positive goes off and it joins up with the detector valve, goes through a 0.1 capacitor as well, but it also links into the 6v6, which we can see there, whatever pin that is, and runs off to the output transformer. And that's just done by the circuitous path. As you can see here, little green wire goes to the 6v6, and again, whatever pin that is, I'm not going to count it. And of course then it runs down to an anchor point on the 5Y3, no connection on that pin, and into the output transformer. And of course there isn't one more wire that joins up, as I said, to the 0.1 and to the detector valve. So, and bridging the positives, as you can see there, our choke bridges the positives. So the current flows, or voltage flows into the 8, is filtered, whatever goes off to the chassis, that's fine, and that current, or the voltage, also goes through the choke into the 16, powers that up. That also feeds back off to earth, but runs off all this voltage into the 6v6, powers up the output transformer as well. So, and I've set it up physically pretty much according to what the schematic shows, and it makes it nice and easy for me, because that makes sense, and it's not sort of higgledy-piggledy wiring all over the place. And again, lack of experience in well, from what I say, you know, translating a circuit or a schematic into the actual wiring. So I've just soldered all that up. I've double checked everything, and given that the choke is working, and I know my caps are working, they're fine, let's have a look and let's run a test. And I'm going to just monitor the filter caps with the multimeter and look at the DC voltage on that. So let's get that into DC. I think you can see it. Yep. Here's a test. Let's give it some power. See if we've got it right. I'll go up slowly, looking for smoke. So far so good. Voltage is climbing in the caps, so we're up to 100 volts. If that was going to smoke, it was smoke by now, that's for sure. So 200 volts. And volume's down, no hum at all. Yes.
There's quite a few builders in for that.
Nice. So it wasn't a ground loop, it wasn't all that rubbish, it was just me not getting it right the first time. Still, you know, live and learn. Got there in the end. Alright, as I said, yeah, all the other waxies have been done, so now I'm just going to go through and check the resistors and replace any that are out of spec. In fact, I might replace all of them. Hey, why not? So look, I'm pleased with that. and I've learnt a hell of a lot, especially how to read circuit schematics. Anyway, but you know, hey, I'm new at this. Haven't been at it for 2 years yet, so yeah, slowly getting there. Anyway, I'll be back shortly after I've changed or checked all those resistors. Well, it's all finished, and I've only left 2 resistors in there, and they were absolutely spot on, so I figured, hey, why not? Oh, sorry, 3. Other than that, radio is working extremely well. Nice and strong, real resonance on the output. So, okay, apart from my initial stuff up, but you know, I was working with a radio that had been gotten to by, well, somebody, clearly didn't know what they were doing, and then I just added to that, and I didn't know what I was doing, but sussed it out in the end. And that's what's important, and I didn't blow the radio up or burn it to cinders, so that's a bigger positive. But still gaining more experience with schematics and relating that to the actual wiring of the chassis. So that's all good. But anyway, another successful radio, thankfully, new power cord as well, and I hope you got something out of it. I certainly did. If you've got any questions, yeah, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll do my best to answer them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.